Yes. Well, he seems to be okay now that Granny Fox is taking care of him. But he is letting Blackie the Crow take all the blame from Granny Fox. Hello. Welcome back. Are you here for another story? You're in the right place. We're reading The Adventures of Reddy Fox, and we've already got Chapter 9 today. News is spreading throughout the green forest and the green meadows. What's been happening with our young Reddy Fox? Everybody's talking about it. Yes. Well, here's a new character that you haven't met. There's a woodchuck. Here's a picture of a woodchuck. And in the green forest, one of the friends is Johnny Chuck. He's a woodchuck. They're about the size of rabbits. So a little bit smaller than you. You're very big rats. Yes, you are. Yes. And yeah, I would say Johnny Chuck is just about half your size, about the size of a rabbit. Let's see what's going on. Johnny Chuck is coming to share the news. This chapter 9 is called Peter Rabbit Hears the News. Johnny Chuck came running up to the edge of the old briar patch, quite out of breath. You see, he is so round and fat and roly-poly that it makes him puff and blow when he runs. Johnny Chuck's eyes danced with excitement as he peered into the old briar patch, trying to see Peter Rabbit. Peter! Peter Rabbit! Oh, Peter! He called. No one answered. Johnny Chuck looked disappointed. It was the middle of the morning. He had thought that Peter would surely be at home then. He would try once more. Oh, you Peter Rabbit! He shouted in such a high-pitched voice that it was almost a squeal. What do you want? Asked a sleepy voice from the middle of the old briar patch where Peter Rabbit lived. And here's a picture of the briar patch. So you know he lives in there for protection because he's a rabbit. It's easy for him to get in there, but not so easy for some hound or coyote or larger animal chasing him to get into that briar patch. That's why he lives in there. Johnny Chuck's face lighted up. Come out here, Peter, where I can look at you, cried Johnny. Go away, Johnny Chuck, I'm sleepy, said Peter Rabbit. And his voice sounded just a wee bit cross, for Peter had been out all night, a habit which Peter has, because that's when he feels safe, because no one can see him. Anyway, I got some news for you, Peter, called Johnny Chuck eagerly. How do you know it's news to me? Asked Peter, and Johnny noticed his voice wasn't quite so cross. I'm almost sure it is. I've just heard it myself, and I've hurried right down here to tell you because I think you'll want to know it, replied Johnny Chuck. Who? Said Peter Rabbit. It's probably as old as the hills to me. You folks who go to bed with the sun don't hear the news until it's old. What is it? It's about Reddy Fox, began Johnny Chuck. But Peter Rabbit interrupted him. Shucks, Johnny Chuck, you are slow. Why, it's all over the Green Meadows last night. How Reddy Fox had been shot by Farmer Brown's boy, jeered Peter Rabbit. That's no news. And here you've waked me up to tell me something I knew before you went to bed last night. Serves Reddy Fox right. I hope he'll be lame for a week, added Peter Rabbit. He can't walk at all, cried Johnny Chuck in triumph, sure now that Peter Rabbit hadn't heard the news. What's that? Demanded Peter, and Johnny Chuck could hear him begin to hop along one of his little private paths in the heart of the old briar patch. He knew that Peter Rabbit's curiosity was aroused, and he smiled to himself. In a few minutes, Peter thrust a sleepy-looking face out from the old briar patch and grinned rather sheepishly. What was that you were saying about Reddy Fox? he asked again. And here's Peter Rabbit. "I've a good mind not to tell you, Mr. Know-it-all," exclaimed Johnny Chuck. "Oh, please, Johnny Chuck," pleaded Peter Rabbit. Finally, Johnny gave in. "I said that Reddy Fox can't walk. Aren't you glad, Peter?" "How do you know?" asked Peter. For Peter is very suspicious of Reddy Fox and has to watch out for his tricks all the time. "Jimmy Skunk told me. He was up by Reddy's house early this morning and saw Reddy try to walk. He tried and tried, but he couldn't." "You won't have to watch out for Reddy Fox for some time, Peter." "Serves him right, doesn't it?" "Let's go up and see if it's really true," said Peter suddenly. "All right," said Johnny Chuck, and off they started. And that's the end of chapter 9. Off go Johnny Chuck, Peter Rabbit, to see Reddy Fox can't even walk. My goodness. Reddy Fox is going to have to bring him food, I guess. How else will he eat meat?